Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode. Today, as you can tell from the title, we're doing a little tour down the Henley Royal Regatta course. So we're going to ride along with the Ladies Plate Leander Club boat, and I'm going to point out the markers that are important along the way. So here, this is us just going through the start line. So if you're on this time the Berkshire side, you have to sort of squeeze through the start pontoons. If you're on the other side, the Buckinghamshire side, you have to go around the big white pontoon there, and that itself will contain a big camera boom to get nice and up close and personal with everyone on the start for the videos next week when the regatta starts. But now, as the camera moves round and we start our row down the course, you can see the trees there of the island, and that is Temple Island. One side of it is mostly trees, like you can see there, and the other side, the other sort of maybe a quarter as we keep rowing towards it, is the temple of Temple Island, where you can't really access it for the regatta itself, but we really use it as a marker in the race, especially at the start of the race, because that's roughly at the end of it 200 meters down in the race as the temple really comes into view here. A really big part of Henley Royal Regatta. But now we'll switch over to the other side of the boat because there's a lot of interesting things that happen on that side. Now we've made it onto Stroke's side. You can see our coach there cycling alongside us. And the next marker roughly is a quarter mile, about 400 meters. And like I said, on the other side, there are little markers, but you can't really see them, hence why we came over to this side. But the next big marker you can see on this side is the 500 meter bench, which we are coming up on now. But it is at this stage in the race where you're starting to question, what are you doing? What's going on? Your legs are already starting to burn and you've not even reached 500 meters now. But as you can see, there's loads of tents here, and at this stage the booms are very close to the bank, and people, if they wanted to, could just sort of kick water at you because you really can get that close to the boats at Henley Royal Regatta. But right there, we've passed the 500 meter bench. We're 500 meters into the race, and now we're really trying to switch into making it to the finish line. Right about now, there's a little bit of quiet as the tents sort of disappear on this side. Then we head into the next big marker, which is the barrier, which marks 636.7 meters of the race complete, which is right about there, and that usually is marked by sort of ones and twos. And what I mean by ones and twos, there's usually a stand, which we'll see as we go down the course for the mile and the mile and an eighth. There's a stand where someone will be watching the race, and then they'll be moving cards up and down with pulleys, which will mark first or second place at that marker, so people can relay it down the course, and people obviously on the water, since it's a side-by-side race, will know what position they are in. But as you can see now, the things start to get a little bit louder as more tents appear. So if you've been to visit Henley Women's Regatta, this is sort of we're approaching the boating area for there, and it's in this stage of the race where you really want to hear those cheers, because yes, at the start we were questioning, have I went out too hard? But this is really the point of the race where you're thinking, yeah, probably have went too hard. Now it is really a case of holding on to the next marker, which is the 1K marker, and I will be switching, as you've already heard, between sort of miles and meters. So that tree that we're coming parallel with right about now is about 1 kilometers, 1,000 meters, and then we go into the next marker. They're going to be coming up faster and faster as we get to the end of the course. This stage box here is Folly right there, and as you can see, the little rectangle, that's where the ones and twos will be popping up to show us what position we're in, and to show people around as well what position the people who are racing are in. But at this stage, again, it goes a little bit quiet. And it's at these stages, those quiet stages in the race, where you're really left with your own thoughts and with the coxswain just guiding you through the Pain Cave. And as now we come up to the 3/4 mile mark, that's 1,207 metres, the tents start to appear once more, and it starts to get that little bit louder as there's more and more people joining in and cheering people on. No matter who's racing, you're going to get a cheer as we come up to Upper Thames, one of the big rowing clubs on the Henley stretch, along with Remnant Club here as well at 1,300 metres. Again, we just keep on pushing. We're through the K, we're through halfway of the race, and we're now past the point of questioning whether we've went too hard. All it is now is a hope that we will make it to the end of the race as we pass Remnant Club now, and as another stage of the race where it gets that little bit quieter. And since you are so deep in the Pain Cave at this marker, just coming up the 1,500 metres humpback ridge in the shade, just about there, all you can really do is just push the legs, listen to what the cox is telling you if you're lucky enough to have a cox in your boat, and just bury yourself and get to that finish line. But it seems with these quiet times on the Henley Royal Regatta course, as we pass the mile marker, 1,609 metres, comes louder times. So now, as you can see, more tents in the distance are starting to appear. There's more and more people lining the banks. Just as the trees start to fade, you will start to see the enclosures for Henley Royal Regatta. And the first enclosure that we see, just coming up to the start of it now, is the Regatta Enclosure. So it's one of those enclosures that you need a badge to get into. And as you can see, it is a stand where it can be packed full of people shouting, cheering for the crews that are racing down the course, and that Henley roar starts to really take shape as we pass the mile and 1/8 at 1,816 metres. And now we're entering the Stewards Enclosure, and on the other side we're approaching the hole in the wall at 1,900 metres. Remember, the course is not a 2k course, it is 112 metres longer. And now we are really into the Stewards Enclosure now, another place that you do need a badge, a specific badge to access. So on the other side of the water, as we're into the stands of the Henley Royal Regatta Stewards Enclosure, will be the hole in the wall at 1,900 metres. So there's a bridge on the other side with a hole in that wall that marks 1,900 metres. And now we're storming down the course. This tree right here, the 100-metre tree, marks almost the end of the race. And now on the other side we've got the progress boards as well, which marks even closer. We've got less than 100 metres left at this stage, and now it is just a case of taking those last strokes and getting to the finish line. We've already thrown the kitchen sink at it about 800 metres ago. There's so much cheering going on at this stage. This is a Henley roar, and beep beep, that is the sound of two crews passing the finish line within feet as we put the blades down and hold the boat up, and you can see Henley Royal Regatta symbol. But as we start to paddle again, thank you very much for watching. That will be it for the end of the Henley Royal Regatta course tour. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions about the course itself, I'll do my best to answer those in the comments below. And as always, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and have a good one.